Daniel Kids is a local Jacksonville child serving agency. Since 1884, Daniel Kids has provided children and families with the resources to become resilient, healthy, contributing citizens.
We are the oldest child serving agency in the entire state of Florida. We've been around for we're actually coming up on our 135th birthday this year, so we're really excited about that.
What Daniel Kids gives directly to the Jacksonville community includes a residential treatment center for children with serious emotional problems, therapeutic foster care with therapists that help children one-on-one, and even independent housing is available. And of course, for those that wish to, adoptions are available at Daniel's Adoption Information Center. Vice President Doug Standard highlights these.
Operate an entire continuum of services, all the way from programs as intensive as residential treatment to programs as inobtrusive as things like tutoring, sales and conferences, school-based programs, case management, and we've got just about everything in between. You mentioned foster care, and that's a big part of what we do. But if you move further up that continuum, I told you about residential treatment. Just below that, we operate a therapeutic group home program. These are for kids that maybe don't quite need the residential level of care, but they need that out-of-home structure, and they need to be kind of slowly integrated back into the community. Therapeutic foster care, kids who are in foster care who have a higher level of need in terms of mental health issues. We said regular foster care, outpatient therapy, office-based therapy, therapy services in the school and community settings. We have therapists that are based in many Duval County public schools. We've got therapists who will see the kids in these schools and even go to the homes of our parents and kids too, and provide the services right there in the homes. Skills. We even operate it's called Independent Living Village, and it is basically a set of economy apartments where youth can stay who would otherwise have nowhere else that they could be. Last thing I'll mention is we operate a private school. It's called Daniel Academy. It's on our grounds over on the Belfort Road campus where many of our services originate from. It's a private school, grades kindergarten through 8, and it's really just intended for kids who are struggling in the public school setting. We have very small class sizes. We give a lot of individual attention to our students out there.
Another service Daniel Kids offers is schooling. Daniel Academy Principal Carrie Flanagan works directly with the children on campus and also helps with showing teachers the ropes.
The job of principal is you're definitely a multitasker. I wear a lot of hats. I'm the instructional leader for my staff. I'm in charge of making sure that they have the training and professional development they need to do their jobs. I'm their support system. I manage a lot of behaviors that our students exhibit during the school day. I also do all the kind of administrative paperwork and managerial stuff. I serve lunch. So it's really kind of a jack of all trades. Like I said, really my job is to be the support system for my staff, for my teachers, because they're the ones that are in the trenches doing the hard work every day. So I'm kind of the one that's making sure that they have the resources they need, the training they need, and the support that they need, because they're the ones that really do all the work.
Principal Flanagan is not new to helping children in public schools. In fact, she's been doing this for over 20 years.
I have an education background. I've worked in the public school and private school sector for over 20 years. And I've always been drawn to kids with challenges, whether they're academic challenges or social and emotional challenges. Those seem to be the kids that I enjoy working with the most. They are kids who generally have adults that have given up on them a lot or have abandoned them. So when they work with adults who they know genuinely care about them and they know that you're an authentic person, it's really gratifying to see them blossom and reach their full potential.
Julia Kolinsky is Daniel Kids' Director of Resource Development. Between managing donations and finding volunteers, she also handles the social media account. She details Daniel Kids' main goal and mission.
To give everyone an opportunity. I think that's probably the main focus is here at Daniel, we try to bridge the gap wherever that child is. So if that child is just lost a loved one or just went through a really traumatic experience, we try to put some services in place for them to be able to just take that step, get over that hump, and go on and continue their lives. So So just being there and filling that gap for those kids.
In 2016, News4JAX released a report detailing parents' main concerns in the Jacksonville community. Drug use and bullying were highlighted as the top two. Mr. Standard explains what Daniel Kids has done in light of this.
Really serious issues. And, a lot of what we do, Isaiah, has to do with, kids who are in foster care, kids who are facing homelessness, kids who have got such severe mental health needs from coming from such an abusive and neglectful background. You're going to see those types of issues. Sometimes the things that the kids and families we work with are dealing with are even more monumental than that, but our staff are trained to be able to work with the kids on any of their issues. I know in our private school, bullying is something that we talk about a lot. We really try to endorse and create an atmosphere where the kids are supportive of one another, caring about one another. I remember just seeing a picture that got sent out a few weeks ago from our school, and it was a picture of like 5 or 6 of our students just embracing in a hug, and the caption was just describing that one of the students had been out for like the last 3 days due to being sick, and when he showed up that day, the other kids were so glad to see him that they went around and hugged him. And you might hear that and kind of think, what's the big deal? But to know the types of kids that we're working with and to see that that's kind of the environment that they have fostered out there just really brought a smile to my face.
An issue Daniel Kids deals with is funding. Funds usually are government given, but help is always needed. Standard describes how the organization handles this.
So funding is a challenge. In a perfect world, we would have an unlimited endowment to where we could just not have to worry about governmental funding at all, and we could help every kid and every family that came to our door. Unfortunately, the reality is that's not what we face or what we have. We don't have unlimited resources. We are very dependent upon governmental funding, and when you get that kind of funding, which is incredibly generous, but comes with a lot of restrictions and rules. So when we get those types of funds, we get told to be eligible, a youth or a family, has to meet these qualifications or meet these criteria. We don't ever want to have to turn someone away, but the reality is, based on what our funding, needs are, we do have to sometimes turn folks away or refer them out to other resources. So I think in the perfect world, we would continue to get really generous support from our community. We would build our endowment up, and then we would be able to use that to better supplement the governmental funding that we are receiving to be able to help any kid or family that's in need.
The mission of Daniel Kids is to improve the lives of children and families. With great administration and faculty staff combined with a supportive community, the future is still bright for a great organization.
Being a parent myself, I see the kind of struggles that other parents go through. So knowing that there's a resource like Daniel Kids out there to help these folks along the way and help them kind of get things turned around, get back on their feet, get the services that are needed for their kids is just a really, really fulfilling and reinforcing thing for me.